It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends yes! Caught! Touchdown! Did he get it?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker here alongside Eric Frandsen on a Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy NCAA Football 2025 day to everyone. I guess to those who have early access. The long-awaited college football game is available to some. I didn't pony up the 30 extra bucks for the deluxe edition, so I'm going to be waiting a day or two to see what it's like.
Yes, a lot of time away from other duties today for a lot of people.
Yeah, for a lot of people, a lot of
just got the game.
This game is responsible for a lot of work hours lost, essentially. So, of course, for me, I can call it research. So
there you
work.
go.
It's like, Jason, where are you? I'm working on stuff. I might have some content based on the video game just because it's has some news value, but yeah, I know a lot of people obviously just trying to enjoy it. A lot of players playing it for the first time, a lot of them as themselves, because that's something they get to do now. But that's certainly not the only thing that happened today, or at least over the weekend, that we'll be covering. Heck, there's a lot of things that started coming rapid fire even before the start of the show. You heard at the top of the hour, Jeff Tedford, Fresno State head coach football. He's stepping down due to health concerns. That'll make 8 new head coaches in the Mountain West this season. 2 of them interim for now is Nate Dreiling for Utah State and Tim Skipper for Fresno State. I've also got NBA Summer League. There's 3 Aggies participating in the Summer League. Also the Utah Jazz as well. We'll certainly go over that. One of the players on the Jazz suffering an injury and will be out somewhat long term. Real Salt Lake, not only did they fall to Portland over the weekend in somewhat embarrassing fashion 3-0, but their star striker has just been suspended for 4 games. 2 of those will include league games, so certainly a big impact on RSL, their top striker, top goal scorer. Also the MLS leader in goals scored will be out for 4 games, including the MLS All-Star game. And, of course, we've also got Pick 6. We'll do those results at the end of the show. Eric trying to break a 2-week win streak I've reestablished here.
That's right. Got to break the streak.
We'll see how that goes. So let's start with, and if you want to chime in on any of these topics, feel free. The Full Court Press text line is open, as always, 435-339-0321. So let's start with that news we just heard at the top of the hour. Jeff Tedford, Fresno State head coach, now former head coach. He's had to step away for a game or two before because of health reasons, but just less than a week after days after media days, he went to the doctor and they came to the conclusion that he needed to step away as head coach of Fresno State football.
Yeah, this isn't the first time he's had to step away from football. He stepped away. Was it back in 2019? He stepped away from the bowl game just a little bit more recently. So he has been battling health issues off and on, and which is really, it's sad. It's too bad. Here's a guy. He's a solid coach. He's had success. He's taken time out to get healthy, to take care of himself physically. But unfortunately, it's whatever it is, it's come back and is not going to allow him to proceed as the head coach for Fresno State.
Yeah, and it can be a physically and mentally demanding to be a head coach, not in the sense of, the way the players with, strength and endurance and all that, but it's long nights, it's a lot of flights, and just a ton of effort being put in, and a lot of strain being put on your body just because of all the demands that you have as a head coach. But yeah, in, what was it, 5 seasons? Yeah, 5 overall seasons as head coach at Fresno State. 45 wins, 22 losses, 3 10-win seasons. Last year it was a 9-4 season, just barely missed out on having 4 out of 5 seasons being 10-win seasons. Couple of Mountain West titles. So very successful, and obviously wanted to keep going. I mean, he was at Mountain West Media Days. It seemed like he had every intention, but it just seems that in what was a decision he clearly didn't want to make, he's had to make that decision to ultimately step away.
Yeah. So it really unfortunate news for Jeff Tedford, for the the Fresno State football program, because he was really helping to kind of keep them. They've had times where they've had success, and then they've kind of slipped a little bit. And he came back and got them back up there, stepped away for a few seasons, came back, got them going again. So certainly he's had a bit of the Midas touch with them to help them get going well. But ultimately, health is of the utmost concern, your personal health. But with him stepping down now, that's going to be 8 new coaches this upcoming season for the Mountain West Conference. So 2 of those within the last few weeks being announced, with what's gone on at Utah State and now what's going on at Fresno State. So 3/4 of your league are
2/3.
Or I guess 2/3 actually. Yeah,
you're not the only one to make that math mistake today so far.
But I mean, there's a significant number of the coaches in this league are all new, and it's bizarre. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's crazy that does Troy Calhoun have as many years of experience at Air Force than the rest of the coaches have combined at their school? Maybe I should have done the math on that, because Calhoun's been there 16 some odd years, give or take.
Yeah, something like that.
And I mean, you got Jay Norvell, who's doing 3 or 4 at Colorado State. Who are the ones who actually are holding over? Just Jay Norvell.
Let's see, Barry Odom, who's just in his 2nd year. Timmy Chang, who's in his 2nd year. Troy Calhoun, who's been there forever. And then Jay Norvell, who's been there a few seasons at Colorado State.
That's crazy.
And he was at Nevada for a few years.
Yeah, so he's been in the Mountain West. But, that's pretty insane that there's just a lot of new head coaches. And it's for every reason in the book. Fired because your team is bad. Suspended for university, in investigation. We'll kind of go broad term there. Health reasons. Retirement. Everything under the sun. Any reason you can just about dream up. I think the only one we're missing right now is recruiting violations. And heaven knows we'll probably get one of those in a couple of months.
Well, you had one. You had an opportunity to move up. And that was Coach Brennan from San Jose State to Arizona. But you're right. I mean, there's for 8 different new coaches, and there's probably 8 different reasons for all of them.
Yeah, it's just
why they have a new coach there.
Yeah, so it's it's not indicative of anything in the Mountain West. There's not this mass exodus from the Mountain West, because several of those coaches went unwillingly.
Yeah,
they would have stuck around given the option. But it's just this insane coincidence. Oh, yeah, we're just going to have 8 new head coaches, by the way.
And 2 others who've only been on the job a full year.
Yeah. So it's going to be a bunch of head coaches who I wonder if it'll be interesting, because part of being in the Mountain West for a while is getting to know the other programs, getting to know the other coaches. But you basically have a conference where so many of these teams nobody really knows their identity, so to speak. I mean, maybe if a lot of the coaches tend to know each other and tend to know each other's style, but not at that particular school, not with the particular coaching staff that everyone's going to have. Like, a lot of them are going to change, perhaps in big ways. Some might stay the same, and Utah State's going to be relatively the same. Wyoming's talked about being relatively the same, but even then, it's still different coaches.
Right.
It's different coaches, different game plans, and it's going to create a conference that doesn't really know itself this year in a lot of ways.
Yeah, if any consolation to having a new young coach on the scene for Utah State is the fact that vast majority of his peers are also new on the scene at their places too. So there's a high level of uncertainty all over the place. Like, what kind of stamp are they going to put on these places? What kind of influence will these new players, coaches specifically, but what kind of influence are they going to kind of have or try to have on their new programs? A lot of them figuring it out together. Now, not all of them are young, green behind the ears. Bronco Mendenhall is a new coach in the Mountain West, but he's got a lot of experience. And Ken Nui-Matalolo at San Jose State. It's going to be his first year at San Jose, but a lot of coaching experience for him. So they're not all equal, but they all are new, at least in understanding what the landscape looks like throughout the Mountain West.
Yeah, but I think they're also going to all face their unique challenges. I mean, for Bronco Mendenhall, his success is years in the past in a different era of college football where we've entered a new era. Things are just different now than they were when Bronco Mendenhall was coaching at BYU. Ken
Matalolo.
Yeah, that one. He's been coaching a team that's been running like triple option for the last little while.
A long while, yeah.
So he's, obviously he's more of a defensive coach, right? It's not like that's his only thing, but he now has to, coach in a very different situation and recruit in a very different situation. So yeah, you've got two coaches with experience, but it's in some ways new to them. Bronco Mendenhall, obviously just different from what he's done at BYU and Virginia, and kind of a new era.
And two places in his previous stops as head coach that had infrastructure in place that he could walk into, that he could build off of in his own way. He's walking into New Mexico that has been sorely lacking in literal infrastructure, but also theoretical in just how the whole framework of that system works. They haven't really been anything for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Since Rocky Long left there.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a tricky situation for those veteran coaches. It's a tricky situation for the young. You've got two interim coaches who are interim coaches at the start of the year and will be throughout the season. And yeah, just a bunch of new head coaches that are trying to step in. Sean Lewis, San Diego State, he's going to go in and try and just rehaul who they are.
Totally different identity of what they're asking of him to do, and can he pull that off?
Yeah, and then you got, was it Jeff Cho? I suddenly can't remember his first name.
Yeah, Nevada.
He's over in Nevada. He's trying to turn around. Nevada's been a decent program, but they have completely gone into the gutter right now. They need They need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. So many different challenges, and obviously Nate Dreiling, trying to get out of the doldrums of back-to-back 6 and 7 seasons, combined with the overhang of an investigation that details of which are going to be made public pretty soon here. Surrounding his the firing of his old boss. So
yeah,
just an insane amount of just challenge for so many of these coaches for so many different reasons. And it's just going to kind of be a bloodbath, I guess, just figuring out who's
going to be so weird.
Survival of the fittest, I guess.
And meanwhile, Washington State, Oregon State, who...
Be careful, don't grab the mic like that.
I forget, I can't. I have to hit my cough button first. But Oregon State, Washington State, who will be playing a lot of these schools, there's some changeover that they're facing as well, and some uncertainty with roster changes and things like that. So it's going to be really, really weird season for the Mountain West. Spencer Danielson, who's coaching the preseason favorite Boise State Broncos, was an interim coach only for a matter of weeks, and now has a full off-season with the anticipation of being the head coach, but how well does he handle that? So you're right. At every turn, there are a bunch of weird question marks throughout the Mountain West Conference. But if you want to weigh in, always love to hear from you, 435-339-0321. A lot of change over the Mountain West. Does that play into Utah State's favor? I guess that's the overall question here in light of Jeff Tedford's news and just all the other changing landscape through the Mountain West. Does that help Utah State with their current situation, or does it even matter? I mean, these are external situations to what USU is going through, but there's turnover, there's change, there's a lot of new faces trying to figure out who they are. Does that at least make it somewhat easier for Utah State to improve their situation and take advantage of others who are also in a bit of a quagmire?
I think anything that levels the playing field, I mean, this is going to somewhat level the playing field with Fresno State, because they're going to go through a similar thing to Utah State in interim head coach. There's a little less turmoil beneath everything for them because Tedford's stepping down on his own accord and for health reasons, so they can all still rally behind him and rally for him. With Blake Anderson, it's an entirely different animal, but on its face, it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
So it helps Utah State, if anything. I don't know if it's going to be a huge help that there's all these rookie coaches. Partly because, with Fresno State, Utah State doesn't play them. So, kind of, I guess, in a roundabout way, maybe Fresno State loses an extra game or two, maybe because of this. But, with Boise State having a new coach and some of these other teams, like Wyoming, New Mexico, San Diego State, most of the teams with the new head coach, Utah State seems to be playing him. But, yeah, I think I want to go to text 93015 sending because it talks a little bit about this. I think the first two Mountain West games for all football teams will be very interesting because they'll be in learning mode of other Mountain West teams. This could help teams that have a tougher front-end schedule, or or hurt them. I don't know if you have a tougher front end, maybe it'd be more helpful if you have an easier first couple of games if you're learning. But for Utah State, they play Boise State and UNLV right up front in their Mountain West schedule. And one of those is a new head coach, technically.
Newish.
He's got a few games under his belt as an interim already. But yeah, you're going straight into Boise State and UNLV. There's no forgiving.
Yeah, there's no easing into it.
And that's after playing USC and Utah.
Right, having to go through some tough teams.
You get a bit of a break with Temple in between, but Utah State could very easily lose 4 out of 5 games if they're not careful. So Nate Dreiling certainly having a lot in front of him there.
Just a quick follow-up on 9315. Will Fresno players get a transfer portal opportunity now that they have a new coach this year?
I think so. Because I'm pretty sure that's the rule. Like if your head coach leaves, there's a portal window opening. But I think, much like with Utah State, there's not really anywhere for these guys to go.
Right, because other teams already have their rosters.
Yeah.
And they already have their scholarship allotments.
Yeah. And so I just don't see anybody leaving because all of them would have bought in anyway. So, like, the situation that it would take, and you could apply this to Utah State too, the situation that it would take for one of the players to leave, because if you enter the portal now and if you're not like a really good player, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to want you. Because for a lot of those mid-level players, there's a bunch of mid-level-ish players that are still in the portal that don't have a home. If a team wanted that kind of player, they could find one. So there's no point in joining that sea of players. The kind of player that would leave would be, like for Utah State, you'd say an Ike Larson. He could enter the portal right now, and there's probably some team out there that happens to have a scholarship spot open. They decided not to fill their complete allotment. That does happen sometimes.
Maybe a player got hurt late spring.
Yeah.
And they've been looking to fill that spot internally or externally, and now all of a sudden player becomes available and they try to make a move. But
yeah, but that's a fairly
scholarship availability at this point.
Yeah, it's limited. So the number of teams that are in that situation is limited. The ones that happen to have a scholarship, or maybe they happen to have enough NIL to not make a scholarship not matter as much. Just pay the scholarship money to them, plus in NIL and whatnot. because we've seen that happen too sometimes. But it's a scenario that's very niche, very unlikely to happen on any large scale. And again, a lot of Utah State's players have already bought in. Fresno State's players have already bought in. So I just don't see them going anywhere. Maybe with Utah State, because again, there's some turmoil. There's some mixed feelings with Utah State players, but even less likely with Fresno State that anyone would necessarily leave.
Yeah. We got a couple more texts coming through, but we need to take a time out here in the Full Court Press. We'll get to those. If you want to weigh in on the topics of the day, things that happened over the weekend, questions you want to ask, fire away. 435-339-0321 here on the Full Court Press.
Daryl's Appliance Service and Sales is the only place in Cache Valley where you can apply your service trip fee if you decide you want a new appliance instead. This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. We want your appliance repair to be easy. Save time and money because we have everything you need under one roof. Appliance service and sales and more. You always get the best appliance repair team in northern Utah and southern Idaho. And if you decide to buy a new instead, just apply the repair fee to your new appliance. See store for details only at Daryl's Appliance West on Airport Road.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat and the Allergy Clinic now have an office located inside the Miller Medical Building in Tremonton. Every Friday, Northern Utah's premier ear, nose, and throat medical physicians and staff will provide Box Elder County a better option to be seen. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat and the Allergy Clinic are now located in Tremonton. Save time, schedule your appointment today. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
Make it 4 years in a row. Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named the gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
On the familiar corner of 4th North and 1st West, Beezer Lock and Key has been keeping Cache Valley safe for 30 years. Beezer has repaired, replaced, or helped build thousands of projects in Cache Valley with secure door hardware, including locking systems, panic hardware, door closers, and more. It's always been more than simply cutting a key. Your family and business safety come first. Beezer Lock and Key knows how to provide top-notch security solutions that stand unmatched in the industry. Visit 4th North and 1st West in Logan or go to beezerlock.com to discover more.
Imagine your wedding day. Elegant, simple, yet stunning, stress-free. It's your day. It's all about you. Whether you're looking for small and simple or have a grander idea, the Riverwoods Conference Center will accommodate your every need. Choose the inside ballroom elegance or outside along the natural decor of the beautiful Logan River. A Riverwoods event planner will work personally with you to make sure your event is exactly how you've envisioned it. The Riverwoods Conference Center, where your happily ever after begins. Google Riverwoods Conference Center or call 750-5151.
Les Olson IT's structured cabling is second to none. Tired of old and inefficient cabling? Have an upgrade or remodel planned? Building a new network from the ground up? We offer the very best in low voltage cabling installation, including data, phone, fiber optic, and more. Ask us how to get your free consultation today.
Les Olson IT.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
It's a Full Court Press. Jason Walker here with Eric Frandsen. Full Court Press text line. It's open 435-339-0321. Had a couple of texts come in. I passed over one because it's on a topic we were going to get to in a second. 7241. We'll get to yours in a moment. 6521 says, I really hate to go here. Don't ever hate to go there on the text line, unless it's way out of left field. Says, but tomorrow is day 14 after the bomb at USU. Release of info then or after the 30-day grievance window. I wish I could give a specific answer to this question because I actually asked Eric, wondering how is Utah State counting the 14 days? Because, July 2nd and July 2nd and July 16th, that's 14 days. Do they release it on day 14 or after day 14? Which that's the problem. I don't have that experience to know exactly how to do it. Is it business days? So we're going to be on high alert for the information to come out tomorrow to get responses to our grammar requests tomorrow. That's when we're going to be focusing on it. We'll probably send some emails, send some calls out like, what's the timeline here? But I can't say for certain.
Yeah, I anticipate that something will be revealed tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. So that's tomorrow could be a very interesting day.
Yeah, because obviously we're not going to be the only one that's going after trying to find the investigation.
Yeah, and that's that 14 days. That's the 14 days Blake Anderson has to appeal the university's decision to fire him with cause, which would mean they avoid having to pay his buyout. And he has 14 days to appeal that decision. The others, it's a different deal. They've had like a 30-day window to appeal, to file a grievance.
Yeah, because Jerry's going to file
appeal for their being let go.
Yeah, there's a grievance, and that's a different process, I believe, entirely. And so Utah State, and I think, on Jerry Bovey's side, I think they're hoping that those details, because I think in his statement, it's like, I hope that Utah State kind of keeps it quiet, all the details during that period where there's a grievance. So they may end up staying hush on the Jerry Bovey stuff, but one way or another, tomorrow, or at least as early as tomorrow, we're going to start seeing details of this investigation, I believe, coming out. Again, one way or another, be it one of the parties releases the investigation, or eventually everyone's grammar requests are eventually going to pile up and they have to be fulfilled, because I don't think Utah State's going to be able to fight them off all that long, because the investigation will eventually come out. So it's as early as tomorrow. Certainly hope that's the day it comes out, because the earlier you get this information, the better.
Yeah.
Earlier
absolutely.
we can kind of put as much of this behind, the better. Of course, the problem is releasing that investigation is going to open up a whole new can of worms. It's going to make it worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Whether it vindicates Jerry and Blake or,
and
whatever.
Amy and Austin
and Amy and all them. we're going to find out what happened.
Interesting letter to the editor over the weekend from Ross Peterson. He's been a friend of the program. He's come on here from time to time to talk history, Aggie history, baseball. He's a big baseball nut. But Ross Peterson has been a long-time professor. He's been in administration and penned a letter to the editor over the weekend. And the headline is USU losing its soul? And really it's pointing to the events of these last few weeks of what's been going on, and specifically in defense of Amy Crosby. Just his experience working with her, and that she's been an upstanding professional. And to quote from his letter, it says, for her entire professional life, Amy has demonstrated a firm, caring compassion that achieves positive results. Her depth of commitment to student athletes, her family, and her job is above reproach. Most importantly, Amy knows the rules and held others to the standards required by integrity, law, and common sense. And it's left a lot of us baffled as to why certain people have been given the axe like they have. And so Utah State made their statement on this with their actions on July 2nd, and then subsequently a week ago with Amy Crosby. And so these people are left trying to defend their integrity and their reputations. We've heard from Jerry Bovee. Blake Anderson, his attorney, has released a statement. Amy Crosby is remaining silent on this. Austin Albrecht, to my knowledge, hasn't really said much either. But these are all people trying to figure out what's going on, especially people who are diehard Aggies.
Yeah, you have people that have reputations, and it doesn't take much to ruin someone's reputation, but this would do that. And there's a bunch of people who have interacted with Jerry and Amy and whatnot, and have established a baseline view of who these people are. People who are, again, diehard Aggies, alum from the university, people of integrity, and so they're left with, like, did these people make a mistake? Because that seems out of character for them, and that's why it's confusing. You have people either doing something that is out of character based on what they know of these people they've known for a long time, or you have a situation which is just as unpleasant, that being they get fired essentially without cause. Both of those are very unpleasant outcomes, and it's why there's so much confusion, why there's so much discontent right now with the program, because they're sitting here with these two options, neither of which they like.
Right.
And
either there's gross negligence by people in authority, or people who have lost their job because of a clerical misinterpretation, if even that.
Yeah. So it's why it's such a tricky situation. It's they're we've said a lot, so I don't need to beat the dead horse here.
Yeah, but one more line that I think is worth sharing from Ross's letter from the weekend. He says, if I had an opportunity to create a team to help solve a problem, influence participants for good, and produce outstanding citizens, Amy is my first choice as a teammate. USU and hundreds of students plus coaches are now deprived of her knowledge and experience. Great people land on their feet, and Aggies do help each other. However, USU needs to regain its soul. Once back on course, we can honestly ask people to invest in a shared future. And it's reference to a line earlier about how Aggies have a soul and kind of how they watch for each other and do good things. And Ross Peterson is concerned that Utah State, at least some people at Utah State, have apparently lost their way.
Yeah, and some of that's a bit of artistic license and exaggeration, but he has a point.
Right.
In that if you got the athletic department of two people who, I don't know if you want to call them the soul, but in a way they kind of were,
right.
Jerry and Amy, where it's like they're huge ties to the community, so you can certainly make that comparison.
And there have been a host of problems in the past with Utah State, whether in athletics or administration on the Hill in academics, of shunning people who understand the Valley, understand the culture, who are also very qualified for the positions. They get shunned because they want to bring outsiders in. But these outsiders are tourists. They're not here as permanent residents. They don't know the institution or love it in a way or respect it in a way that a lot of the others who go there and or in the community do. And then they get shown the door, like what happened this last week or 2 weeks ago. So it makes it more challenging for any other future Aggies who want to stick around because they love the institution. Well, what assurance do they have that they're going to be able to stick around when outsiders want to bring in other outsiders just so they can be surrounded with their own people? So it needs to be a mix. I get it, but it can't be exclusive. But when you've got some people that know the institution, its history, its people, it's a shame if they're getting showed the door for insufficient reasons.
Yeah, it's if you love the university, is it going to love you back? And that's the case where and it is important to recognize, like, you don't just hire former Aggies and all that, because then you're completely insulated from the outside, and you need to have that outside influence. It is an important thing to have.
Yes,
it's how we grow, is through that diversity of background in a lot of ways. That can be very helpful, so long as there's competence involved. Again, you don't only hire from the outside, and you don't only hire from the inside. You find who's best for the job for a variety of different reasons. That's why when we were talking about hiring Jerry Bovee as the athletics director, I was like, don't hire him because he's an Aggie. That is the last possible reason you should be hiring somebody, or at least pretty darn close to the last reason. It can be a factor, but the first reason is job competence. Everything after that, and that's very helpful. If you're an Aggie, you have a connection, that's part of job competence. So with both these, it is and ends up being kind of a shame here, just depending on the reasons why they got let go, which again, we're still trying to figure out the exact reasons, but it's a minefield.
Yeah. Last week, Ike Larson, media days, he was upset. The reason he stuck around is because of Blake Anderson. Now Blake's not there right now, and he's upset. We've shared some things that he has posted on social media. The Utah State University volleyball players are upset. Great lengthy post on Instagram from Kaylee Ray, daughter of Brendan Ray, who was also a former athlete. Really upset about the decision and not and just her personal interactions with both Jerry Bovey and Amy Crosby. So it's affecting the student athletes. It's affecting the Aggie community, and we still don't have answers. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. We do need to take a break. When we come back, I guess speaking of suspensions and firings and whatnot, Real Salt Lake, out of the blue, losing their top striker, the leader for the Golden Boot, Chicho Arango, who Eric keeps wanting to call Christian Arango. That's what he typed into our notes, and I was like, Eric, you can't be doing that.
That's MLS identified him as such. So will I.
That's his given name, but that's not what everyone calls him. Are you going to call Tiger Woods by his real? I can't remember what his actual first name is.
I can't remember what it is either.
I'll have to look that up. Anyway, we'll talk about that on the other side of this break here on the Full Court Press.
Who do you turn to if you want to change out your wood or pellet stove? Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They were voted the gold medalist for Best of Northern Utah for the 4th year in a row in the fireplace retrofit category. Be ready when the government's next wood and pellet replacement incentives pop up. Advanced Fireplace can help you navigate the paperwork. For more information, call Advanced Fireplace and Stove, 752-7272. Online at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Is Medicare and Social Security on your mind? Now is the time to learn about Medicare and Social Security. This is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance. Be our guest July 18th, the third Thursday at 7 p.m. Come see us at our office by the North Walmart. Call 752-9493. The seminar is free. The information is valuable. Call 752-9493 to RSVP. Learn about your Medicare options the third Thursday, July 18th.
Markets are unpredictable, but reaching your financial goals shouldn't be. Adams Wealth Advisors is dedicated to helping you navigate these challenges and ensure you're prepared for every outcome. Whether your financial plan revolves around advanced tax planning, estate planning, business strategies, retirement planning, or investment management, Adams Wealth Advisors team of CPAs, CFPs, and CFAs will provide the expertise needed to help you reach your financial goals. Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. That's AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information or to schedule an appointment.
Let Prodigy Brewing deliver a delicious experience of flavor and fun into your world. Enjoy Cache Valley's juiciest burgers, tastiest nachos, and flavor-filled wood-fired pizzas and award-winning specialty craft beers. Did you know that Prodigy Brewing now has a 20-minute lunch guarantee? From 11 to 3 p.m., they promise to get your meal to you within 20 minutes after you order, or it's free. So whether it's a quick lunch, dinner with the family, Sunday brunch, or Trivia Tuesdays, let Prodigy Brewing introduce you to deliciousness. Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in downtown Logan.
Are you seeking the best in healthcare services in Northern Utah? Look no further. Aegis Healthcare has been voted the best of Northern Utah. I am Jason Jones. We take pride in providing top quality home care and hospice services to the residents of Northern Utah. Experience the difference with Aegis. Our dedicated team is here to provide compassionate home care and hospice services tailored just for you. Call us today at 723-9000 or visit our website at myaegis.com. Aegis Home Health and Hospice, your trusted partner right here in your community.
Since 1990, the Logo Shop has been your source for customized logoed items for businesses, teams, and booster clubs. The Logo Shop can customize your logo on thousands of items. When it's important to make an impression, have the Logo Shop embroider your logo on apparel from Nike, Travis Mathew, OGO, North Face, Under Armour, and Carhartt. Team shirts, uniforms, pens, water bottles, clocks, rugs, golf balls. The Logo Shop can put your logo on anything.
The Logo Shop. Logo
Logo Shop. The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the full court press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
So Chicho Arango, the forward for Real Salt Lake, he's currently the leader in MLS in goals scored. He tied Real Salt Lake's single-season goals record. Previously, well, he's tied with Alvaro Saborio with 17 goals. Saborio did that like back in 2012 or something, give or take a year or two. I believe he's the career goals leader for Real Salt Lake. And there's like a month or two left of the regular season. Like that tells you how well Chicho Arango is doing. He was up to be potentially there was a vote. He was in the, I think, 3 or 4 players. One of the candidates for the captain of the MLS All-Star team. Well, that's not going to happen now. And he's also in the MVP race, like an actual MVP candidate, included with guys like Lionel Messi over at Inter Miami, although Messi just got injured in Copa America. I don't know how that's going to impact his time in the MLS. But
that ankle did not look pretty.
No, it was pretty
night.
Swollen is what it was.
Oh, man.
So it ended up taking him out of the game. Of course, Argentina ends up getting the 1-0 victory anyway. But Chicho Arango going to be out for 4 games. Not all of those are going to be MLS games. I should specify why he's out. It's because, and this pretty much came out of the blue, he's been suspended for 4 games because of violations of the league's anti-harassment policy. There's not really any more details other than that's why he's been suspended for 4 games. It's just violations of the anti-harassment policy. RSL hasn't said anything other than we cooperated and we know he's been suspended, and that's pretty much it. So he'll be suspended for 2 league games plus 1 Leagues Cup game, I believe, and then he will be suspended for the MLS All-Star game, which is why he's not going to be captain, because he can't play in that game anymore.
Yeah, and all we can really I guess is that he had to have said something in their game against Portland, and that went up the chain, and whatever he said was not good, not right, and Major League Soccer taking action.
Yeah, because he got into a bit of a tussle in the middle of that game, received a yellow card for actions in that game. He committed kind of a frustration foul, because Portland ended up defeating RSL 3-0 in that game, so obviously a lot of frustration in that game for Real Salt Lake, who are pretty high in the standings. They're a team that is expecting to be good, and losing a game 3-0 is obviously not the result they were looking for, even though it was on the road. So yeah, he probably did that. That seems to be the most logical case here, is that he said something he shouldn't have, likely said in anger, and obviously he's going to clearly regret that now. But yeah, RSL going to lose its top goal scorer. Granted, he's not their only goal scorer. They got guys like Andres Gomez and others who are playing well. 7241 sent this all the way back at the beginning of the show, so I've been holding off to be able to mention this text to when it would be topical. The 7241 saying, including the All-Star game and the suspension is super weird, but honestly, I'd rather have it shake out this way than him being suspended for more than just the 2 regular season matches. The Supporters' Shield run is more important than the All-Star game or Leagues Cup. And I have to say I agree. Like, only 2 regular season games? I mean, that's not ideal, but if it's a 4-game suspension and only 2 of them are the games that matter toward the Supporters' Shield, like that's the regular season title, or just being available for a playoff run, because right now I think the Supporters' Shield is a bit tricky because they're missing like all of their center backs right now, so that's why they're giving up 3 goals in a single game. Their defense is really patchy right now. But yeah, I think it's the best case scenario in what is a very sudden bout of adversity for Real Salt Lake.
Yeah. Interesting that the All-Star game counts as a suspended game, where it's an exhibition.
Yeah, it's an exhibition. They usually just play a team from Europe or something like that, and So yeah, it'd be like if LeBron James got suspended, but then they kicked him out of the All-Star game. Like, okay, who cares?
Yeah, it didn't count anyway.
Most of them don't want to be in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's the MLS trying to say, the All-Star game matters, guys. Or probably more likely is they didn't, and I don't know if they've voted on the captain yet, which it's probably Lionel Messi if they have, but like, you wouldn't want like potentially a captain or one of the highlighted players to be a guy who just recently got suspended. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, hey, we just suspended him for harassment, but hey, he's our top guy out there on the All-Star game.
Yeah,
woo!
So maybe
Let's
that
celebrate this guy who just said some naughty things on the pitch.
Yeah, that could potentially be it. 4781 saying MLS suspended him because they can't have a guy in a small market win anything. They don't make money off it. The league doesn't like RSL either. Now that's a sentiment I can get behind. MLS does not like RSL. At least doesn't care about RSL. They want their, big market teams doing it. LAFC, the LA Galaxy, Miami with Lionel Messi. They want all those teams succeeding. They would be terrified. It was like David Stern. If the Utah Jazz had ever won a title with David Stern, he would have had a meltdown. People are like, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened to the league, is the Utah Jazz winning a title. So MLS is happy with RSL being a good team but never doing anything. They already have their title back in 2009, so they don't have to worry about this team having never had success. But yeah, they don't want them over their darlings in the big markets.
Yeah. But it was also a big weekend, the Euro Championship, Spain and England. Great game earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And then to cap things off at night, you had the Copa America with just a massive debacle before the thing even begins. Lack of security. CONMEBOL, Copa America, there's been a lot of crap that's come out. Canada's coach going on a rant and how they've been treated as second-class citizens. Other countries very upset about practice facilities and how they've been relegated, and clearly there's picking favorites and how this has all gone down. And there's a lot of people saying, gosh, this is supposed to be a precursor to the United States hosting the World Cup. Clearly the United States is not ready for this. That's not the right narrative.
The US,
that is not the right narrative.
The U.S. barely has anything to do with it other than that they're the host country.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of their facilities that are being used. The organization falls on
the mess
others.
in the stands in Charlotte with the players going into the stands and fighting. Anyway, it was crazy. Ratings were great. And people tuned in to watch, and there were a lot of great games. Just there was a lot of stupid nonsense on the outsides. It's a distraction, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just not good. That's the thing. And obviously, a lot of people having a negative opinion of the U.S. Like, not that they would necessarily know better, because they think I'm in the United States. It's a tournament in the U.S. Therefore, it's the U.S.'s fault. That's a logical line for a lot of these people to follow, and it just spoils it for everyone.
Yeah.
You have a tournament organizer that didn't know how to organize a tournament. Then the U.S. looks bad, and the whole tournament gets marred, even though you had some pretty good soccer overall.
Yeah, bunch of knotheads just storming the ticketing area, accosting police. Even like the head of the Colombian Football Federation, he and his son got arrested because there's some of the people who were storming the ticket gate and getting arrested by local police.
Yeah, it's
bad look.
It's people being too obsessed, and unfortunately, Central and South America have a poor reputation for being maybe a little too obsessed.
Yeah, and they've
tried to take strides to overcome that, but yeah, you need to keep things under control.
Yeah.
Of course, one last comment before we go to break. Why does England always say it's coming home regarding a trophy when I can't think of a major international trophy that's been in England at any time in the last 60 years? No trophy has ever called England home. Why do they keep saying it's coming home?
It's a fair question. Fair question.
It's like literally everywhere is home for the World Cup trophy, for the Euro. I don't know if they've won Euros. Maybe they have in the last, since the 60s, the last time they won their World Cup.
It seems like Spain's winning everything these days.
Yeah. Everyone
Wimbledon,
except England. Anyway.
Euro.
Got to take a break. We'll have Pick 6 results coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
This is Brent Wallace with Cache Valley Bank, and we are celebrating our pioneers and their contribution to our state. Join us as we celebrate the days of 47 with our promotion. From now until July 31st, you can receive a 4.79 annual percentage yield on a 12-month CD or a 4.25 annual percentage yield on an 1847-day certificate of deposit. Come visit us or give us a call to learn more and be part of the celebration. Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Member FDIC, no minimum balance required. Early withdrawal penalty may apply.
The patio is open. The chips are endless. Drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
Summer in Cache Valley is beautiful, and the Sportsman on Main Street has all your bike needs covered. Get your bike in now for service or a tune-up. We can usually get your service done in about 2 days. Be ready for the beautiful riding days ahead. If you need a new bike, we have kids to adult full suspension mountain bikes and e-bikes for around town or the mountains. From bikes to helmets to locks and clothing, come and see us at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan for all your biking needs.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
Guys, are you thinking about testosterone therapy but unsure if it's safe for you? Let the specialists at Budge Clinic Urology guide you in making the right decision. With their expertise in men's health, they offer evidence-based treatment for low testosterone, ED, and urinary issues. Plus, they're the go-to experts in prostate cancer screening and cutting-edge robotic surgery. If you're considering a vasectomy, call Budge Clinic Urology today at 435-716-1450 to schedule a quick consultation. Trust Doctors Lusney, Bassett, Heiner, and John McVeigh for your men's health needs. Hablamos Español.
For more than a century, couples have shopped at S.C. Needham Jewelers. Known for a large selection of beautiful diamonds, we now have both natural and lab-grown diamonds. You are sure to find a diamond engagement ring that will fit your budget. The possibilities today are endless as you select the perfect ring. Show her you'll cherish her forever with a diamond, either natural or lab-grown, from the store where Utah gets engaged. S.C. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
I don't have the liner in front of me, but Napa Auto Parts, Preston to Providence locations, a lot of different oils on sale. Eric could probably list them all off the top of his head. He's the pro here.
No. Great deals in store at Napa Auto Parts.
Yeah, if you know, oil that works as hard as you do.
There you go.
Again, lots of great deals. Thankful to Napa Auto Parts. Again, 5 locally owned Napa Auto Parts locations, so you can go there and shop local. And be helping your local business owners. A couple texts. I don't know if I quite have time. They're both on soccer, but
9315. Yes, you did hear correctly.
Yeah,
we'll just leave it at that.
About the debacle. But I got to get to pick 6 results. Only got about a minute, so we got to get through these. So Vegas Summer League. Taylor Funk points in his opening game with the Washington Wizards Summer League team. Set the over/under at 7.5 points. I took the under. You took the over. He only had 3. Not the greatest outing for him, but was playing several minutes. Third place Copa America game. Total shots, I set the line 23.5. You took the over. I took the under. There were 26 shots.
Ooh, let's go.
So 1-1. 6 hours of Sao Paulo. Higher finishing car, Toyota Racing or Porsche Penske. Well, Porsche Penske, their cars finished second and third, but Toyota had theirs finish first. So I took Toyota. You took Porsche. So 2-1 for me. Going to your lines. Combined goals in Euro and Copa America finals. You set the line at 3.5. Spain won 2-1. Argentina 1-0. That's 4 goals. I took the over. You took the under.
Darn it.
So I'm up 3-1.
That's not good.
Cody Williams combined points, rebounds, and assists against Dallas. He set the line at 8.5. Well, he cleared that pretty well. He had 21 points, had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, cleared that pretty well. We both took the over, though, so that's 4-2.
Oh, that's good.
And then home runs by Phillies players Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Athletics. You set the line 6.5. I took the under. You took the over. They had a home run in Game 1, 4 home runs in Game 2, but none in Game 3.
That's
so the
luck.
under hits. So I ended up winning that 5-2.
The streak continues.
Yes, so we're into 3 weeks. I also had the tiebreaker. Surprisingly, RSL had 57% of possession in a game they lost 3-0. So I don't know how that happened. But it's just the way it is. Anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tune in tomorrow for more local sports.